Because staying up all night is not really good, especially that I'm.
So let's look at the radar right now in New Orleans. So this is what Barry looks like right now. Everything is very lopsided. Everything is on the. There's storms on the west side too. So there's some tornado warnings here. Well, there were some, but not anymore. Look at that. Convection overtaking the Gulf. Watching where to go. Watching where it all. Center of circulation is here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the center of circulation tries. Oh my god, that is so. Yeah, that's really funny. So imagine if the center of circulation decides to go further south. Oh, this is really going good now. Okay, let's go back to the Lake Charles radar. Okay, So let's go back. Let's go back to the radar again. So this is what's going on right now. Can't find a radar in Homa. Let me see. I'm trying to go to Homa right now. Homa, Louisiana. Right now, let's see what's going on there. Oh, they're under a hurricane warning. Yikes. It probably won't become a hurricane, so. Alrighty. Let's see what's going on now. Let's focus on earthquakes quickly. That's probably some deep earthquakes. Yep. Those DPLF events, deep low frequency events. DPLF. Yeah, or DLF events. Deep low frequency DLF. These are DLFs. DLF. Let's see. It's closer. Looks like this is the shallowest. So it's that one. So this is all because of magma, so you see. Very shallow. I think that's the negative 2.1. Yep, it is. Alrighty, let's go back to, let's look at other earthquake. Let's look at this here, shall we? Still a lot of earthquake activity going on. Thankfully nothing too big. I think the center should be right around there. It's a very lopsided system. I mean, it did form as a non-tropical system, as a frontal system, so that could be another reason why it's so lopsided. All the thunderstorms are on the south side of the system. Look at that. There's only a few cells in Louisiana. And the radar, see, that's all it is. Hardly showing up as anything. And there's the southeast tip of Louisiana there. And it's because of that probably coming in. Looks like the remnants of the tropical storm / hurricane. Looks like the remnants of Barry may actually come over us. Look at that. The strongest will become right around noon is when it's going to be at its strongest. So this is when landfall occurs. Let's look at that. That's some hurricane force winds there. Look at that. Wow, look at all that rain. 20 to 30 inches of rain. Holy crap. Simulated infrared satellite. It's definitely hurricane force winds. 93 knot winds, yeah. So it might be a very lopsided hurricane. So this is what David Schlauthauer is talking about right now.
So high tide should be at 5:09 p.m. That's the next high tide. Low tide is at 4:49 a.m. Other locations.
It's not even raining there.
I'm only going to cover a couple of areas, everybody, okay? A lot of rain and a lot of wind with this, though. Lots of wind. Got gusts up to 79 miles an hour. It's supposed to make landfall by tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. Actually, it'll be making landfall today, and that would be in 30 minutes. When it will, you'll consider tomorrow as today.
Look at that. There's already hurricane force gusts.
Well, we'll see, Pyro Owl. Anything's possible. Hey there, Weather Tracker. Hopefully you're doing good. And there's the path. Look at that. Starts all the way up there, curves around. But do you guys have any questions at all?
Hopefully hits at low tide. Gonna be a serious onshore fetch.
All right, let's go take a look at Doppler radar again live. All right, thank you, Claire. I'm glad. I don't think the great. There's not much. Right. Let's go take a look at Doppler radar again live. All right. Let's go take a look at Doppler radar again live. There's not much to update on except live tracking. Hey there, Fortnite Gaming. Hopefully you're doing great. Oh, you're allergic to popcorn, Weather Tracker? Oh. 5-day formation outlook does not look to appear likely. It's just a tropical wave, so it's nothing concerning. But there is another area that we have to monitor. There is a tropical depression out here moving away from Mexico. Gosh, there is 2 storms happening at once. In fact, there's 3 if you count the Invest. A little active right now, this given the near mid-July. Any hints at the long-term forecasting? 723, good question. I will provide that in this live stream. I'm only going to get to that one question. If people ask me, what about the beginning of August? I don't have the answer. I need you all to understand that because... See, this is what we're watching right in here. But that's going to get devoured. See, that's not going to make it at all. And it does not look like anything is going to be developing for a while. Looks to be pretty quiet in the Atlantic.
Look at global temperatures right now. Warm waters here.
Yeah, there was a guy dancing out there. Let's see if he... No, not...
Yep, so there's warm waters in Labrador Strait. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, there's some warm waters there. And now let's look at...
Okay,
This storm definitely does not look like a normal...
So do you guys have any other questions?
Normal tropical.
I'm probably going to head off, but I'm still going to be here doing the live stream. I just won't be doing the talking. I will monitor the live stream. I will chat with you all. I'm going to do the text chat. I got to pay respect to my roommates. I can't be talking too loud. Hey David, will there be a tornado in Michigan this whole year? That's a different question to ask. I'm sure there will be, but the chances of that are decreasing. Yeah, I'm still going to be here for night gaming. If you want to tune in at any time during the night, I'll be live still. What's the severe convective outlook for tomorrow, Tyler? That's not related to the tropics. But I will check over here.
Oh my god.
I will tell you tomorrow it's looking a little lesser. There's not much going on with the severe weather. I don't live with my parents, Kyle. I have neighbors over there, right on the other side of this wall. I have neighbors.
Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Holy.
Oh, nice, Fortnite gaming, yeah. I'll be playing some music, everybody. Some... Not energetic music. Well, it's some energetic music, but it's also going to be actually pretty much some hunting music, weather hunting, hurricane hunter music. It's going to be music that you'll likely enjoy. Thank you, Invest16. By the way, there is a Invest. We're keeping an eye on a Invest 93L. That will be Noah. We're going to keep an eye on Invest Noah over here. Doesn't look to be that strong. Hence his name, Noah. Or Invest 16. You know, Noah, you should change your name to Invest 93L because they only use numbers between 90 to 99. They don't use 16, the number. That would be more cooler, indeed. And the severe weather center is looking pretty calm the next couple of days. We're not seeing a lot in the severe weather side. Just a couple of days of a slight risk, but that's about it.
Holy crap, look at that anomaly, guys. Look at that anomaly right there. Holy crap. Check that out. This winter is going to be very, very cold for the Northeast. Very, very cold. And is there still Arctic ice there? Huh. That is very normal to have Arctic ice this much. Ooh, not very bad. Oh, that's 2000. That's for 2015. We might have a worse year than 2012. Yeah, this looks very, very bad right now, guys. This looks very bad. Okay, yeah, no religion or politics. That's big no-nos because this is all about weather right now. So look at that. Atlantic is very warm. Pacific's, right now the PDO is becoming positive, becoming warm. So we got a warm PDO. The Atlantic is warm, so we're entering both the Atlantic and the Pacific right now. So this means this winter is going to be very warm, and we're very likely going to have record low sea ice this year. This might be the lowest ever, perhaps. And looking at Antarctic sea ice, it's also very low. We're low for everything. Our Antarctic sea ice and CO2 emissions are rising this year too. They rose last year as well. U.S. emissions have risen, so that's very bad as well. And right now, let's look at the models for the Northeast. This will for the next several days. Let's check the models. Tomorrow's going to be 90 degrees. No thunderstorms. Chance of some storms Sunday, but very little. Actually, this front's going to come through dry. Let's look at the temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be upper 80s to low 90s tomorrow. Sunday's going to be very warm. So some closer water temperature right now. That's the water temperatures there, 73.9 degrees. .8, 75-degree water temps. .7 degree water temps. Water temperature 73.2. Water temperature 75. So water temperatures are very warm. Water temperature 79 degrees. And it's only the first 2 weeks in July. 61 degrees, very cold waters here. Let's go back to USGS. they're starting to be co-located with the center of convection now. It's finally starting to be the center of circulation is finally being co-located with the center of the highest convection. So this could become a hurricane if this keeps up. If this was here, this would have been a major hurricane. I mean, look how quickly it's intensifying. I mean, look at all that convection. It's intensifying very quickly. Let's go back to live. Unbelievable. Look at all that warm water. Okay, while that's being fixed, let's go to the tropics again and look at the satellite. So there is a swirl right now going on. So let's look at the earthquakes right now. It looks like everything is winding back down. Oh, just expired now. See that earthquake right there? That's about to disappear. So let's go back to aircraft reconnaissance, see if anything changed. Looks like not. There's the center of circulation right there. There it is. Let's look at the radar now. There we go. There's the center of circulation right there. Boom. Which means it's somewhere down there. Most of the convection is to the south. So I'm going to pause the stream for just a moment, and I'm going to get back to it in just a second. Alrighty. So I'm going to unpause the video right now, and I'm going to be watching a video from Ben Ferriello.
Hey there once again, YouTube. Ben Ferriello coming at you. I just wanted to put out an update about the earthquake we had here in Washington State last night in the United States. It was magnitude 4.6 and woke me and my family up from sleep, and it was pretty good, guys. It wasn't too strong, but my TV was shaking, the backboard of the bed was knocking. Woke us up because it's definitely enough to wake us up. It was definitely a very interesting experience. Scared the crap out of my daughter. She's like, "Daddy, is that an earthquake?" And we've been talking about it a lot, and she does not like earthquakes, but trying to get her a little excited about a small 4-pointer, a mid-range 4, no damage, and just a lot of fun involved. Seriously, didn't cause any damage. Let's have fun with it, shall we? But then again, you could, it is possible this is a foreshock to a larger event, but I doubt it. I doubt it right now, but it is always possible, especially where this event was located. And I'll tell you about that in just a second. In Japan, we saw magnitude 6.1 at 251 kilometers in depth just a little over an hour ago, about 2 hours ago, I believe. About an hour and a half or something like that. Then down in Hawaii, we've been seeing some deep earthquakes near Pahala, Hawaii, which usually is signifying spasmodic tremor, but there has been no spasmodic tremor today. These are actual earthquakes. Then an earthquake all the way to the northeast, 3.1 and 19.7 kilometers in depth. There has been just a little over an hour ago, about 2 hours ago, I believe. About an hour and a half or something like that. Then down in Hawaii, we've been seeing some deep earthquakes near Pahala, Hawaii, which usually is signifying spasmodic tremor, but there has been no spasmodic tremor today. These are actual earthquakes. Then an earthquake all the way to the northeast, 3.1 and 19.7 kilometers in depth. Very interesting, very intriguing. And if we go to Kilauea monitoring and go to, let's pick a random, let's do DESD, past 24 hours. You see the P and S wave arrivals are clearly separated on the Webby quarters, showing that these pretty deep and somewhat distant from the station. They're occurring down in this location right here, in the normal location where spasmodic tremor usually occurs, but no spasmodic tremor has been spotted for days, possibly even maybe a week, almost a week now since we've seen any spasmodic tremor really. Maybe some little teeny tiny ones here and there, but nothing notable. But you can tell there is somewhat of an earthquake swarm going on in that location. And yeah, so that's it for Hawaii. In the past 24 hours for all magnitudes for the Ridge Crest area in California and the Coastal Volcanic Field area. Whoops, my bad. Let's go to terrain. 1 day all magnitudes past 24 hours worth as of 7:11 p.m. Pacific Time, July 12, 2019. Coastal volcanic field is still seeing a seismic swarm, but it seems to be dying down a little bit. It does seem to be dying down. We still see a gap in seismicity in this area where the magma chamber is likely located. We talked about that a few videos ago. Doesn't look like any type of volcanic eruption will occur. I'm not really seeing any SO2 emissions from earth.noschool.net. Not seeing any volcanic tremor or low-frequency earthquakes. So, at least for right now, it seems like the threat of a volcanic eruption is not there. But then again, you never know. The Earth does some crazy things. After all, the 7.1 and 6.4 about a week ago was pretty crazy, nonetheless. So going down, you see seismicity continues in this area. Again, about 1,500, almost 1,500 quakes in the past 24 hours, with an interesting burst in seismicity to the east-northeast of the fault zone right down here. And let's do largest magnitude first. Earlier this morning, there was a magnitude 4.9, almost a 5.0, all the way down here right at Ridgecrest. Not actually within the volcanic field, as far to the south. Volcanic field's in this area right here. But these are aftershocks from these events. But these are a lot for aftershocks, guys. I mean, this is pretty crazy. You see, always. So I'm thinking this must be some type of artifact. Look at that. See that weird pulse? Look at that. Because it wasn't there prior to the earthquake, right? Right when the earthquake started, there it is right there. I think that's some type of glitch, because as you'll see in just a second, this magnitude 4.9 was pretty strong. And let's go to the waveforms, shall we? And right there. Right there. Notice how it is very strange looking when it's unfiltered. Let's add a 1 Hz high pass filter, shall we? There we go. There's the magnitude 4.9, almost a 5.0 in the Ridgecrest area, likely occurring as part of aftershocks ongoing from the intense earthquake activity that still is continuing. Magnitudes are getting a little bit smaller. Not as many high 3s and 4s occurring anymore, but that could change. That could definitely always change. Seeing a lot of earthquakes. Guys. Crazy amount of earthquakes still, regardless of magnitude. I mean, they're pretty much almost still constantly occurring. But yeah, so that's the magnitude 4.9. Whoops, my bad. 4.9, right up here. Let's go back up. Here are the seismic waveforms once again to that 4.9. Now let's move on to some information about the magnitude 4.6 that I felt last night. So there have been about 15 reported aftershocks after this magnitude 4.6 that jolted us awake last night. Apparently they're now saying it's 28.8 kilometers in depth, almost 30 kilometers, which would explain why it was felt so far away. Sometimes if an earthquake, let's say a 4.6 occurred right at the surface, of course it'd be pretty strong in the area centralized around the epicenter. But if it's a little bit deeper, it won't be as strong at the epicenter, but it will be felt farther away from the epicenter. You know what I'm trying to say? This magnitude 4.6 again occurred in the northwestern section of Monroe. Now I want you to know something that I think is very important. We have a 3.5, 31 kilometers in depth, just 2 minutes after the 4.6 that jolted us awake. And this magnitude 2.0 up here, which occurred at about 2:31 p.m. Pacific time today, I believe I felt that because I was on the couch, and apparently there were some people in the Seattle area that reported feeling this 2.0 at 27.9 kilometers in depth. I was on the couch watching the 5, and about 2:31, it was basically right at the same time, because I remember my kids said something, I forget what they said, and then the 5 came on, and I remember it was about 2:31, 2:32, right around there. It felt like someone was walking behind me really hard, or like running. You know, like when you feel the ground shaking when someone runs really fast, but there's no sounds of running. I'm used to people running upstairs because we live in a condo, and we're on the 3rd floor. So shaking will be a little bit stronger for us up here than down below. So I think I did feel this. I submitted a felt report, so hopefully that was seen by USGS, because I believe I did feel this 2.0. So I possibly felt 2 earthquakes in the past 24 hours. Don't know for sure if I did, but the timing matches up perfectly. Now I want you to notice something about this area. Let's go to Wikipedia. I usually don't use Wikipedia a lot, but this was some great information that I did check out. Now I want you to notice what this is right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. My computer's lagging once again. Now right here is where I live, right? Right in this location, right where you see the red, is right where, and apparently there's some basaltic rock in this area from an old, very, very ancient basaltic eruption called Lord Hill. That is one of my friends on Facebook actually told me. It was a hiking post. USGS does not have much about Lord Hill, but it was a hiking post for hikers that go up there, right? In that area. And apparently it was formed, it's an old, very, very, very ancient basaltic ridge, which I thought was very interesting. Basaltic, obviously, that's magma. But very, very, very old lava right there. Very, very old. Definitely, probably nothing could ever come up in that area ever again. You never know, though. But we're focusing on this fault right here. You see it extends all the way down here past Snohomish, or into Snohomish, I believe. I live right there. The earthquake occurred right on the northeastern section, just a little bit northeast of the South Whidbey Island Fault. And look how long it is. See the Seattle Fault right here, which is capable of a magnitude 7.1. The South Whidbey Island Fault goes all the way to the northwest, all the way into the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Do you see how long that thing is? That is a massive, massive fault. Now let's read about it just real quick. The Southern Whidbey Island Fault, which is possibly responsible for last night's earthquake, it's very, very possible, is a significant terrain boundary manifested as an approximately 4-mile wide zone of complex transpressional faulting with at least 3 strands. Marine seismic reflection surveys show it striking northwest across the eastern end of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Just south of Victoria, British Columbia, it intersects the west-striking Devil's Mountain Fault and either merges with it or crosses and possibly truncates it to connect with the Leech River Fault. The Leech River Fault has been identified as the northern edge of the Crescent Formation, aka Mechosin Formation, part of the Silesia terrain that underlies much of western Washington and Oregon. Seismic tomography studies, which is mapping underground, show that this portion of the SWIF marks a strong contrast of seismic velocities, such as is expected of Crescent Formation basalts in contact with the metamorphic basement rocks of the Cascades Geological Province to the east. Basalts. To the southeast of the SWIF passes through Admiralty Inlet, past Port Townsend, and across the southern part of Whidbey Island, crossing to the mainland between Mukilteo and Edmonds. And for the locals in western Washington around the Seattle, Everett area, you guys know where I'm talking about. This section of the SWIF forms the southwestern side of the Everett Basin, which is most notably aseismic in that essentially no shallow, less than 12 kilometers deep, earthquakes have occurred there, or on the section of the SWIF adjoining it in the first 38 years of instrumental recording. And of course we know the earthquake that occurred all the way in this location was much deeper than 12 kilometers. It was almost about 30 kilometers. Yet it is also notable that most seismicity in the northern Puget Sound occurs along and southwest of the southern Whidbey Island Fault at typical depths of 15 to 27 kilometers in depth, with last night's being about 28.8 kilometers in depth, within the lower part of the Crescent Formation. The contrast of seismic velocity seen to the northwest is lacking in this section, suggesting that it is not the Coast Range Cascade contact. The significance of this, whether the edge of the Crescent Formation and implicity of the Siletz terrain turns southward, blah, 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 metamorphic basement, supplanted here by other volcanic rock, is not known. It has been suggested that a corresponding change in the character of the SWIF may reflect a change in the direction of regional crustal strain. Prior to 2000, prominent aeromagnetic anomalies strongly suggested that the fault zone continued southeast, down that way, perhaps as far as the town of Duval. But this was uncertain as the SWIF is largely concealed and the faint surface traces generally obliterated by urban development. Since the 2000 studies of LIDAR and high-resolution aeromagnetic data have identified scarps near Woodinville. That's right. Guys, I can walk to Woodinville from here, which trenching has confirmed to be tectonically derived and geologically recent. Subsequent mapping shows the SWIF wrapping around the eastern end of the Seattle Basin to merge with the Rattlesnake Mountain Fault Zone. The RMFZ, despite the approximately 15-degree bend in different context, is now believed to be the southern extension of the SWIF. Reckoned between Victoria and approximately Falls City, the length of the SWIF is around 90 miles. 90 miles. That is a massive fault, guys. That is huge. I'm gonna say that's probably one of the biggest in Western Washington. Yeah. Now, guys, listen to what comes next. It has been suggested that the SWIF might extend past its intersection with the RMFZ, with only peripheral strands turning to join the RMFZ to cross the Cascades and eventually merge with or cross the Olympic Wall lineament. A study of regional features suggests such a pattern, but mapping of areas further east that may clarify this out. Paleoseismological studies of the SWIF are scanned. One study compared the... It has been... Paleoseismological... Okay, this is the important part. Check this out. Paleoseismological studies of the SWIF are scanned. One study compared the relative elevation of two marshes on opposite sides of Whidbey Island and determined that approximately 3,000 years ago an earthquake of 6.5 to 7.0 caused 1 to 2 meters of uplift. Woo-wee! Another study identified an unusually broad band of scarps passing between Bothell, hey, that's where I live, and Snohomish, with several scarps in the vicinity of King County's controversial Brightwater Regional Sewage Treatment Plant, showing at least 4 and possibly 9 events on the SWIF in the past 16,400 years. And it's been 3,000 years since the last major event on the SWIF. Wow. Such seismic hazards were a major issue in the sighting of the plant, as it is tucked between two active strands in the influent and effluent pipelines across multiple zones of disturbed ground. Now, guys, I did not know. Okay, so I knew about the southern Whidbey Island fault. I thought it was just this, right here. I had no clue it stretched from the Strait of Juan de Fuca 90 miles to the southeast down here near Snohomish. Wow. And I mean, wow. Yeah, I just found this out today doing research about last night's earthquake, guys. I'm not saying that we're going to see a big one soon, but I'm just saying it has been 3,000 years, which is much longer than what the Seattle fault has seen. The Seattle fault ruptured with about a 7.1 about 1,100 years ago. Yeah, very, very intriguing. Now, I found something very, very intriguing. USGS does have scenario event pages. These are event pages for earthquakes that did not occur. This event is a scenario. It did not occur and should only be used for planning purposes. Okay, so this is a scenario for a magnitude 7.5, which is what the Southern Whidbey Island fault is capable of. Yes, a 7.5, right up the street from me. I mean, if I wanted to go drive onto the top of the fault, I think it'd take maybe 10 minutes from where I live. Yeah, maybe 10, 15 minutes max.
No.
Actually, no, wait, I'm going to say probably just 10 minutes, because it said it went through Monroe, right? And down near Snohomish. That's not that far from me, guys.